Last episode, we followed 15 young travellers from the United States, winners of the National Geographic Prize, as they explored Tasmania. Well, this week, they're travelling to Far North Queensland. Far North Queensland is renowned for its lush tropical rainforests. And the best way to take in their enormity and beauty is to travel right over the top of them. That's exactly what our group of 15 National Geographic contest winners from the United States are about to do. Board the Sky Rail west of Cairns and glide above the rainforest canopy almost 8 kilometres up the mountainside to Grainger. Their guide for this bird's eye experience is a member of the Aboriginal tribe associated with this rainforest, Brandon Richardson.
Well, a day like today, you can really appreciate the rainforest. You've got a bit of rain around, it's a bit misty, so it's a typical rainforest experience. One of the highlights on the Cable is the cockatoos. We tend to see a lot of white cockatoos, also butterfly species. With our rainforest, of course, it only covers like 1% of the landmass in Australia. We probably have more plant species here than any other plants around in Australia. There's 50% of bird species in Australia actually live up here in this 1% of landmass, so it's crazy. To our people, the Tjapaki people, the most important bird to us would be the cassowary. And we believe that we evolved from the cassowary. It's our dreamtime story, so it's a great significance to us. It's also known as a sacred bird.
What the students are appreciating in this 90-minute trip is that this tropical rainforest is World Heritage listed. It's one of the most botanically fascinating and diverse areas on Earth. Along the way, there are stops, like this one at the Barren Falls.
The highlight of the trip, coming down to the Barren Falls section, is the falls, and had a lot of history as well. One of the first white families, the Connellist families here, by the name of Marshalls, were established here. And it was one of the places they engaged with the local Aboriginals too, because they had a camp not far from here. So to us, it's quite significant. For the tourists, it's a really nice view, and especially during the wet season, between December and March, you can appreciate the falls then.
At the end of the ride, the students experience various aspects of the indigenous culture. Face painting, throwing a boomerang, dancing. These are Brandon's people, known as Tjapaki.
We're one of the few tribes that are from rainforest areas, so, you know, in that regard, we're very different to majority of tribes around Australia. So, you know, with hunting, gathering, languages, stories. So just here alone is very important to me, and also the elders and the Tjapaki community. Very important, keeping our culture alive, and we only got our language back, you know, about 10 years ago. And that was very important to us to bring the languages back into the schools, which we didn't have before. But it's also this recognition of the area is very important to the Aboriginal people, just showing people around the world that we are from here. And that's probably the most important thing to us.
In Australia, since there's Aboriginal tribes, I think it's really cool that the people that come here get to experience it, because then they can see the culture that Australia has from a tribe's point of view. So I think they should definitely keep doing this.
From the rainforest to the reef, such as the diversity of Far North Queensland. The Nat Geo students now sail out to a coral cay known as the Low Isles.
We took about an hour and we got out to the middle of the ocean and we snorkeled in the Great Barrier Reef all together. We all had our wetsuits on and we got our private tour.
On shore, the students learn more about the reef and its wonders from marine biologist Christine Gleeson.
Great Barrier Reef, it's home to about 3,000 individual reef systems. Extends about 2,300 kilometres along the coast of Queensland. It's home to about 360 species of hard coral, about 40 species of soft coral, about 1,500 fish species. The hard corals themselves have a limestone skeletons made up of calcium carbonate. So over successive generations of the corals, it's built up on those layers of the dying dead coral. Corals spawn annually. It's a big highlight coming to the reef sort of around October, November every year, and after the full moon. Corals, they spawn together, so there's massive gametes floating around in the water during the coral spawning period. You've got eggs and sperm mixed in together to maximise fertilisation chances of the coral. Education is highly important here on the reef. It's good for the kids to take home a message about the state of the coral. Everyone knows about the future threat of global warming. Trying to do our very best to keep the reef here for the future.
The final word comes from one of the hosts of this National Geographic tour, Dana Dayton.
It's extremely important. These kids are going to be in charge of the planet for us and for future generations. And the more of them that learn how to do it and they can pass that down, to their friends and even teach their parents, it's very, very important. I think we're at a critical time, and we at National Geographic, want to do all we can to inspire more people to care about, how they act, what they throw out, what they recycle, and I think these kids are great ambassadors for us.
TravelOz